Yesterday, a young man said that I am born on Pisces ascendant, and from tomorrow my Venus mahadasha is starting. And since Venus is the lord of 8th house, the mahadasha of the 8th house lord is starting. And so I want to know, because I am afraid what will happen when 8th house lord mahadasha begins. Always remember, 8th house Lord Mahadasha is not bad. It is not bad for those who are willing to come out of their comfort zone. Real growth begins only when you step out of your comfort zone. In this podcast, I am going to share the significance of 8th house and 12th house and why the Mahadasha of the 8th house lord and 12th house lord is not as bad as it is made out to be. However, let me warn you that this podcast is only for those who have a certain level of understanding. So watch it, listen to it, only if you are having a certain depth of understanding. So let's begin. There is no such thing as a bad or a good Venus, or for a matter, no planet is bad. Every planet has a message, a mission to improve you, to awake you. If you remain positive, then even a suffering can become a blessing in disguise. For Pisces ascendant, Venus is not harmful. All you need is to respect the woman and, if possible, fast on Fridays and worship Goddess Lakshmi with faith and devotion. Always remember, every person who comes in our life has a role to play, and the role may be whatever. It cannot affect you as long as you remain faithful, as long as you keep walking on the path of love. On the path of love, we are neither masters nor the owners of our lives. We are only a brush in the hand of the master painter. For Pisces ascendant, Venus Mahadasha is a wonderful period of transformation. A great adventure awaits you. Interestingly, many are not aware of the fact that the word romance is defined as adventure in the English dictionary. This is the time when you can take risks, and only a man who can take risk can attain that which others cannot. If you are not willing to risk the unusual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. Always remember this. Those who continue to live in comfort zones never grow in the true sense, because real growth is the growth within. Once, Buddha asked a very old man, "What is your age?" And the old man said, "I am 4 years old." The emperor was seated at the feet of Buddha. He heard this answer and he was shocked. When the old man left, he asked Buddha, "What kind of answer was that? That man must be beyond 82 years, and yet he said he was only 4 years old. Please help me understand, O Master." And Buddha said, "I asked him purposely, because you have been asking all kind of stupid questions for last so many hours. So I thought, why not give you the real thing?" A real master is a lion and not a cat. Who would dare to speak with an emperor in such a way? But the master is real, and real never fears. The emperor touched the feet of the master and said, "Please explain." Buddha said, "The real age is when you start turning inwards, when you start meditating, when your spiritual journey begins." When the old man said, "I am 4 years old," he meant that his spiritual journey has just begun. It has begun just 4 years ago. Now you tell me, what is your age? And the emperor started crying. He had no answer because he had not started yet on his spiritual quest, on his spiritual journey. He never had looked within. And this is the whole essence of life, my fellows. Instead of what the Puranas and Upanishads are saying, the master is more interested to know what you are saying based on your own experience, your own insights, your own self-realization. That is why those men and women who approach me referring to scriptures, I dislike them because these are just heads, and I am not looking for heads. I am looking for the hearts. But this is a strange world. People will believe the Upanishads, whose authenticity is a matter of question, considering so many destructions have been caused by foreign invasions. But if a spiritual master mentions something, then shallow people will doubt. A living human being who has attained enlightenment is saying something, and people will not believe. They will continue to believe in scriptures, my fellows. They will continue to believe in scriptures, but they will not believe in a living human being who has attained enlightenment. And this is not new. It has happened with every Masiha, be it Jesus, Buddha, Mahavira, or Sai Baba. You will fear Venus only if you are afraid of taking risks, of using this wonderful period of Venus Mahadasha in experiencing self-transformation. Just for my close followers, I want to reveal the fact that people will talk a lot about spirituality. But if you ask them to jump first and think later, then out of 100, only one will step ahead and jump into the unknown. And it is only those who jump can experience the beyond, the godly, the divine. The Master says that people say, think twice before you jump. I say, jump first and then think as much as you want. The mahadasha of 8th house lord and 3rd house lord is all about adventures, romance, risks, and enjoying this wonderful journey called life. People are more interested about life after death, when in reality you should be living your life fullest before death. Remember, the real question is not whether life exists after death. The real question is whether you are alive before death. It is only when you take risks, it is only when you become adventurous, it is only when you follow your heart that transformation happens. 8th house and 8th house lord is all about transformation, inner transformation. Remember, the greatest solution to all human problems is individual inner transformation. The real juice is only to be found in the deep valleys of the 8th and 12th house. And it is through these deep valleys that great mountains, meaning great personas, have evolved. Some of the finest human beings have had major planets in the 8th and 12th house. Osho Rajneesh had maximum planets in his 8th house. But people are shallow. They fear the 8th and 12th just the way the forest animals fear the lion and the tiger. 8th and 12th house is where the greatest spiritual beings dwell. They cannot remain trapped in those typical goody-goody four walls of safe houses in the chart. They are the lions. They live free. They dance. They celebrate life. Their roar is indeed the roar of freedom. The greatest fear in the world is of the opinions of others. Remember this. And the moment you are unafraid of the crowd, you are no longer a sheep. You become a lion. A great roar arises in your heart, the roar of freedom. Interestingly, those who are lions, who love freedom, are naturally drawn towards me, because the lion will come only to a lion. And that reminds me of a beautiful story. There was a lion cub, and he got lost in the woods. A flock of sheep raised him, and he started moving around with the flock of sheep. One day, a very old lion was passing by, and he saw that a young lion was moving around with a flock of sheep. The old lion roared, and the sheep started running all over. The young lion also started running, escaping. You see, living with a sheep, the young lion also started believing that he too is a sheep. This is how life is. When you are in a company of sheep, you forget your real identity, that you also are a lion. And so the old lion caught the young lion and took him to the cave. The young lion continued to cry like a sheep. Then the old lion took him to the river. In that river water, the young lion for the first time saw his real self. He also saw the reflection of the old lion in the river water, and he realized that he is a lion. And then he roared for the first time. The entire forest shivered. They realized that the lion has arrived. And this is how God is, my fellows. This is how the Master is. This is how Buddha is. This is how Jesus is. This is how Mahavira is. They are like that old lion who help us realize that we are not a sheep but a lion. A lion never fears the dangers and risks and adventures of life. Similarly, I appeal to all my close followers who love me that do not fear the 8th and 12th house. Remember, you are a lion. Love to all my listeners and followers. Stay blessed and focus on not what the scriptures say, but what your experience says, what your self says, for that is the real sign of intelligence, divine intelligence. Always remember, the intelligent person depends on his own insight. He trusts his own being. He loves and respects himself. Your own self-experience, your own self-inquiry is the greatest service you can render to this human world. The real journey of life begins only when you start asking yourself that one significant question: who am I? Meditate, love, and let go. जय श्री गणेशा, जय गुरु। ओम गम गणपतये नमः। ओम गम गणपतये नमः। ओम गम गणपतये नमः।